Yeah, it has been hard to film this video. The first two times it was me. The third time it was the alarm. Now we're just gonna do it again. Listen, welcome and welcome back, you guys. Let me just tell you now, when it comes to you trying to improve your life, doing any type of self-improvement, any type of practicing your intuition, practicing discernment, wanting to evolve, wanting to ascend, wanting to grow in life, any type of self-development work that you want to do, just understand that nouns, verbs, and adjectives make a difference. I know that might sound confusing, but I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can because now I've been able to practice 3 times. All right? Whatever's good for you is going to be good for you regardless of who in your space tries to convince you that it's not or ruin it for you. And usually whatever's good for you is hard and it's difficult and it takes effort to achieve. But when you're in a position where you're striving to achieve something or working towards a goal in your life and you see different recommendations or advice from people, a lot of times people love to say, well, you need to remove the negativity from your environment. You need to change your environment. You need to stop going to that place or talking to those people or doing those things. And part of that is true because part of it is the verb. Part of it is the action that you're taking because you want to improve your overall surroundings and your situation and circumstances. So, of course, you need to change your environment and all of these things go hand in hand. But the nouns, the people, places, and things aren't as important as the verbs. And the verbs are basically what it is that you're doing, whether it's something constructive or something destructive. It's all about what it is that you're doing. And your perspective changes everything. Your perspective can change your outcome in a matter of moments, literally. And sometimes it takes a little bit of work to get there, but your perspective can change the outcome to your situation in a matter of moments. It just depends on what you're willing to see and what you accept when it comes to looking at different situations. If you are an alcoholic, right? And you constantly go to a bar every weekend or you go out with your friends to get drinks or a family member or something like that, or you have a friend that you guys buy some beers after work on Friday and then you sit around and hang out. Just because you don't go to that friend's house or that club doesn't mean you're not going to drink every weekend. Just because you don't hang out with that friend or that family member or that person who you drink with doesn't mean you're not going to drink every weekend. It's about you changing your actions that's going to actually change the outcome. Ma'am, you are making it all about you. I don't know if y'all heard her meowing. You making it all about you, ma'am. Would you like to be showcased? So I want you guys to understand that because in mainstream media, when it comes to like influencers and motivational speakers and things like that, where they have these transformation stories, ma'am, good Lord. Hold on, y'all. Child, I just had to open the door. I got cats, and one thing about cats is they don't like doors closed. So I know that was a quick break for y'all, but I had to get all the way up and come back. Hey, so what I was saying is mainstream media, spirituality, religion, different groups will try to make you think that all you have to do is like, oh, go to church. You're not going to church. Just because you go to church don't mean the devil's going to get off your back. Okay. Just because you stop going to the bar, going to the club or hanging out with those people doesn't mean that you're going to stop drinking or smoking or doing whatever counterproductive, destructive thing that you do. And that's what a lot of these people, whether they're influencers or whether they're spiritual practitioners, they don't necessarily say that. They want to make it seem like if you isolate yourself from humanity and you close yourself off from the world, that all of a sudden that's going to solve the issue that you have or it's going to fix the problem that you're facing. And that's part of it, but that's not the complete picture. That's not the whole story. But you wouldn't know that because of the way that they like position it. And once you do decide, because first you have to decide that you want to make a change. Once you do decide that you want to make a change, there's so many other aspects that go into it. Before you actually decide to improve, you actually have to accept that there's improvements that are needed. Right? I know I can improve on this channel maybe by editing my videos, but it's very difficult because right now my editing software, it doesn't want to open. It's fighting with me. So I'm going to try to turn lemons into lemonade and do what I have to do and build my confidence and communication skills by using a technique where I don't actually edit. Right? And I was doing this before when my editing software was working and we just had a different segment of videos. But now it's like I'm forced to articulate myself in the most clear way possible. And sometimes I mess up and I trip over my words, or I'm not completely sure what word I want to say. But it's actually helping me to improve the way that I communicate by trying to make the most out of a situation that's kind of frustrating. And that is a way where I choose to change my actions by changing my perspective and therefore hopefully changing my reality. And there's other things that I can do. But once you accept that something needs to change, you can then take the steps that you need to take to try to upgrade your perspective, right? You accept it, and then you try to act on the changes that need to be made. Once you make that decision, then you got the ball rolling. The momentum has already started. And usually the people, places, and things, which are the nouns, are the first thing to go. You'll stop going to the parties. You'll stop going to the clubs. You'll stop hanging out with those destructive people. And usually that is the first thing to go, and that's correct. But as things progress and move forward and you get to the deeper layers of the development that you want to make and what it requires for you to accomplish said development, you're going to find that just because you remove people or you isolate yourself, it doesn't change the inner dialogue that's going on in your mind about the things that you need to change. And that's what people don't talk about. I mean, some do. That's true. People do talk about it. And it's just not something that's as publicized, especially within the spiritual community or the religious community, as being important. It's more so like an afterthought. It's more so something that people put behind the curtain and they don't really address. But the acknowledgement and the acceptance of said acknowledgement, plus the decision and the removal of negative influences, brings you to the point where you will then have to work on the verbs, which are the actual actions that you take, and maybe incorporate some adjectives, y'all. Okay. Once you start to see that, changing your behavior makes you feel better, then it begins to change your perspective about what you can achieve and what you can accomplish. But your perspective literally is the backbone to the reality that you see. I feel like we've all been in a situation where we've been dealing with somebody maybe who we didn't really trust, and we might have been tiptoeing around, with our little fingers into that phone and looked up some things. And you know what they say, child, when you looking, you're going to find it. Whatever you go looking for, more than likely you are going to find it. So with that being said, the same thing is true when it comes to your reality. If you go looking in your partner's phone and you suspect that they're cheating, and you just know because you seen this and you saw that and you witnessed this and you felt that and all these other things, more than likely you're going to see what it is that you're looking for, even if it's something that's not there. For some of you, it might be something that is there and your intuition was telling you and you needed to act on it. Fine, cool. That's definitely a possibility. But more than likely, there are occurrences in your life where you went into a situation expecting a certain result. And we talked about expectations recently. You went into a certain situation expecting a certain result, or envisioning how something could go bad and wanting it to go good, but knowing that if it goes like this, it might go bad, or trying to overcompensate for things that you really don't have to overcompensate for. And then you kind of created the situation that you didn't want. That's the essence of a lot of disappointment that I feel like people and humans and individuals have is that they don't realize the power of that perspective. They don't realize the power of that mindset. And that's a part of manifestation that doesn't come easy to everyone. Some people get it and they just naturally have the ability to see life that way. Some people can use techniques and work on it. And some people, it's kind of hard for us to catch on for any reason, whether it's your circumstances, whether it's the trauma that you've been through. It takes more to be able to change your perspective or have a positive perspective, especially if you've been through a lot of pain. But that is ultimately the key to manifesting what it is you truly want. And you can't just change your environment and expect your mindset to change. You can't just change the people who you're around and expect your behavior to change. You have to change your expectation of the situation and the perspective that you have based on that expectation so that you can see a positive outcome and that literally be the only thing that you focus on. I mean, because we see it every day. You can take, I was about to say something vulgar, y'all. Do y'all want me to say it? I was about to say something. No, it wasn't super vulgar, but I mean, listen, let me just go ahead and say it. I'm sorry, okay? Like the video and subscribe to continue to catch the vibe. But I was going to say, you could take the hoe out the club, but you can't take the club out the hoe. You could take the cheater off Instagram, but you can't take Instagram off the cheater. I don't know. It doesn't, that one didn't really make sense. But you know what I mean? You could take the rapper and pluck him from the streets, but you can't really take the streets out the rapper. It's a lot of situations where we see destructive behavior continue to progress because nobody's really addressing the actions that cause that behavior to manifest. So then the same things occur until we look at the verbs and we change that. So I don't know. I hope that helped y'all. Get in the comments and let me know a situation like that, because it's like a dual video. Like your perspective matters, but also your actions matter. And I feel that you're more easily able to change your actions when you upgrade your perspective and basically try your best, like not to think the worst of people and situations. So you guys get in the comments. Thank you for being here. I hope this helped. Let me know what's going on. Let me know how this reflects in your life. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.